What is up, guys? Future Dark here, back again with another video. Um, Today I'm just gonna be going over the basics for Grand Theft Auto 5 online. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna be going over like all the major components,
What do you need?
cause I know a lot of people a lot of people are wondering if they should buy it or shouldn't buy it to see if it's a good or bad video. It's a good or bad game. So I'm just gonna be going over. Yeah, I'm just gonna be going over. So, as you can see, I'm in a helicopter. This helicopter, there's a lot of helicopters in the game actually. This is one of them. It's called the Buzzard Attack Chopper. It can shoot missiles. It can shoot.
Nope.
As you can see, I have someone just called me on my in-game phone right there. That was one of the players, not a real player, but it's just one of the people you work with in the game, because technically you're like a CEO of the business. So GTA is one of the closest games you'll find to real life, other than the unrealistic vehicles. So yeah, you can buy properties. You can buy a bunker, which you can do research in. You could buy a facility, which I just exited. You could buy apartments. You can buy garages. You can buy cars. You know, this game has Lamborghinis, BMWs. They just don't call it that in the game for copyright reasons. So here at the building I'm about to land on is my CEO building. As you can see in the top corner, it said land in the CEO office. So I'm just landing now. And like I said, you can buy different types of apartments. You can buy a house, you can buy a penthouse. Pretty much most things in real life. This is my executive assistant.
What can I do for you?
You can choose if you want a boy or a girl. These are all my cars. So these are all my garages, which I have my cars in. Yeah, so these are all my cars. You can order any car you want.
Our fearless leader. Hello. I don't think I can arrange that right now.
There's new DLCs that come out, adding new things to the game to keep making it interesting about every December, November area of the year. Yeah, so this is your CEO office. You can do pretty much whatever. You can actually run cargo missions here, which is basically like, you sell cargo, like you manufacture cars and stuff, and then you sell them. Yeah, like I said, it's a lot like real life, except for the cars. Like,
how can I help you?
So I can order a car right here.
You got a nice fleet, boss.
Drive to my other car in. Like I said, like this is a really cool sports car. This one's like a Lamborghini.
Both in finance.
This one's like a Mercedes, BMW mix. This one's basically a drift car. I could actually go inside my garage and show you. This looks like a Batmobile. Yeah, I'll show you guys in my garage right now. And when you buy cars and planes and stuff, you can change the color, change the engine, change the weapons. It's a very expansive game. So
hi there.
If I just go to my garage, you can buy as many garages that are in the game as you want.
As soon as you've decided, I'll get the Pegasus rep to prepare the vehicle. Okay, I'll get it landed on the helipad.
So one of the features to this game is the money. As you can see, my money in the top corner, I have $2,131,022, I believe. And yeah, you can basically work for your money, or you can do glitches in the game, which is like you find exploits and then you.
Hey there, it's your partner. Hell.
Guys, you can see that number keeps calling me. He's basically the mission person in the game. He launches up all your missions and he basically gives you access to the other parts of the game, the official parts of the game, you can say. Right now I'm in free mode, so I can just do whatever I want, have fun with the other players in the lobby. Right now I'm currently in a lobby by myself because I went AFK before making this video. I left my controller on the table and I had to go do something. But yeah, see, so I can go in my garage. These are all my cars. This is my motorcycle. This is one of the less realistic vehicles in the game. It's called the Oppressor. It's basically a gliding motorcycle that you can see those wings on the back. You can basically send it up into the air and fly around. This is my drift car. This is basically my BMW i8. This is one of my Lamborghinis. In the game, it's called Tempesta. As you can see, I painted most of my cars all the same color, just because I like that color scheme. And here, this car is called the Vigilante. It's basically a spin-off of the Batmobile from the Batman series, if you're interested in that. See, as you can see, I can change the radio, play different songs. So, if you've ever seen the movie Back to the Future, you would have seen the, what's it called? You would have seen the DeLorean, which I believe is the main character.
Morse Mutual Insurance. How can we help you?
See, you even got an insurance.
I think we can handle that.
If one of your car gets destroyed, you can call the insurance company and they'll resupply you with a new one. So, and then I could just call my mechanic to bring me any car.
I'm on the clock. What you want? Some wheels?
Any car I want that I own. So
I'll bring it to you.
Just call in my Deluxo, which is basically the DeLorean I was talking about. And here's your weapon wheel. There's a lot of weapons in the game. Like, I have most of the weapons. There's a lot of Mark IIs in the game. I don't have a lot of them. I only have, yeah, I only have one Mark II. No, I have two Mark IIs. I have this Combat MG Mark II, and I have this Pump Shotgun Mark II. Yeah, so the mechanic should have delivered my car. I got hit by a street. These are all non-playable characters, AIs on the street. They're programmed by the company who made this game, Rockstar, to just drive around. So, but yeah.
But sir, if I can just have a chance to
So this is the DeLorean, or the Deluxo, as they call it in the game, as I was talking about before. If any of you ever watched the Back to the Future movie, you know that it's not usually this color. It's usually a silver whitish tone. And really, what gives it this, why I can call it this is the flying feature, which not a lot of cars have. I believe it's this car and a flying bike motorcycle, which I will show you in just 1 second. So if I can just fly to, so you can buy a lot of stuff in this game. You can buy an arcade, you can buy pretty much a lot of the things you can think of in real life you can buy. There's clothing stores, there's gun stores, there is see, here's the motorcycle club. You can, in this game, you can either choose to be you can either choose to be a CEO, a VIP, or a MC president, which is a motorcycle club president. A motorcycle club is basically a group of people who ride around on motorcycles in the game. I usually like to go with a CEO because, you know, I feel like that's the most official one. And yeah, that's just the one I like to go with a lot because I think it gives you the most perks. Like, it gives you the most benefits. So, and one of my favorite features of, or one of my favorite properties in the game that you can own is actually the Arena War Workshop, which is basically all these like deadly vehicles. Like, they have guns on them, they have blades on them. And there's this thing in the game called Arena War, where everyone gets one of those vehicles, and then they fight in this ring, and the last one standing gets a prize, I believe. If I can drive. So you can customize your cars. In here you can do whatever you want in here, but not whatever you want, but you can just change up your cars a lot. So I'm loading in right now to my Arena War Workshop. So as you can see, this was the flying bike I was telling you about. This is called the Oppressor Mark II. And yeah, so there's a lot of other cars. This is the Stromberg, which is basically, if you I forget what the movie's called, but there's this agent, I think he's called 007 or something like that, but he has this car that can, like, basically go into an ocean and it turns into a submarine car. And this car, I just have it for fun, you know. I just like to drive around in it sometimes when I'm bored. And I have this motorcycle called the Akuma. It's pretty nice. It was one of my first cars when I first got the game. And this is the actual customization area. So, like, as you can see, this car is green right now. I can get in it, and if you can see in the top corner, I can press right on the D-pad and modify this vehicle. So I drive it into my personal mechanic shop. This is the mechanic. His name is Sasha. I can get armor, I can get brakes, I can get chassis, which is basically the stuff on the chairs. I can get an engine upgrade to make it faster. I can get horns, you know. Look, they have all types of horns. They even have musical ones. They sound pretty cool. I used to have them. They're pretty interesting, I think. This is one of my favorite ones. It's from the original Liberty City game. And like I said, you can customize your car colors, so I could either go for my crew color, and a crew is basically like a group you join. So I can get matte colors, I can get red, blue, orange, green, black, and I can change that to any color as long as I pay for it. I can get Pearlescence, which is basically like a glossier type. Yeah, so
Okay, bye-bye.
yeah, so you can hear a mechanic telling you bye in the back. And one of the major components of the game is your telephone. You can access your emails which basically is the game sending you emails, and you can access your text. These are not real people, these are just in-game characters. And then your contact, this is Agent 14, he works in your bunker. This is your assistant, you saw her up in my CEO. This is Brucey, he's basically your doctor in the game. This is Bryony, she basically owns the, she doesn't own it, but she helped me buy, this workshop. She's not a real person, like none of these are real people. I don't know what this guy does. This is the taxi company. This guy works at my motorcycle club. This guy works at my, actually work for this guy. This guy's my boss. This guy's one of your friends. This guy also works at your motorcycle club. This guy, Lester. Lester is probably your most important character in this game other than yourself. Lester can get cops off of your back, like when you have police on you, he can get them off. He can give you jobs to do, and he runs you through all the missions you do, like he goes on your earpiece and he talks to you. And LJT, who was the person calling me in the beginning of the video, he calls you whenever, like, he calls you if he wants you to do something for him. Martin, you can call him to give you a job, and your mechanic, probably the second most important, he can deliver pretty much any car you own that's stored in your one of your garages to you. And Merryweather is basically private security. You can call them for them to come pick you up in a helicopter, and then they can drive you to your destination. They send mercenaries after people, which is basically like you can pick someone in the game to kill, and then you call this person, you call Merryweather, which is basically the company, and then they send people after that person. And Moore's Mutual, I called them earlier to get my DeLorean or my Deluxo. Paige is your hacker for whenever you rob banks and you rob stores and stuff. Pegasus, these guys that go with your heavy vehicles. I can call them to request my jet, my helicopter, my plane. Ron, he supplies gas for all your cars. Simeon, I don't play Simeon that much. Tony basically calls you whenever, you need money. He calls you and then he gives you missions to do for money. Wendy, she works at your arcade. She's the manager while you're not there. Young Ancestor, he's a rapper in the game, and you know him only because, like, you're the main character of the game. And probably one of the top 5 most important. So this is your website. This is your internet. You can go on any website that there's, I think, 3 or 4 car websites. This is Legendary Motorsport. As you can see, these guys probably the sports cars and stuff. The Diamond Casino, which you actually have a mission to rob them. You could buy a house, a penthouse, which is basically the top of an apartment building. You can buy Southern San Andreas, which is basically off-road, not too cool cars. Warstock Catch and Carry. This is probably my favorite website. You could probably see why. This supplies you with most of your heavy equipment, like guns, gun vehicles. As you can see, this is the Menacer. It has armor on the actual truck, and it has a gun at the top. This is your B-11 Strike Force right under it. The B-11 Strike Force is a deadly jet. This is the Cara, I think it's called. I never really used it before. It's basically a pickup truck with a gun in the back. I used the DeLorean that I bought. Here's the jetpack. None of this money is real, it's just in-game money. Like, this is your Kanjali. It's basically a tank that you can upgrade to be like one of the best vehicles in the game. The Stromberg is the car that can go underwater, as I showed earlier. The RCV is basically a fire truck with this is basically a fire truck with two things that's two hoses. This is an Akula. It's one of the best helicopters in the game, if not the best helicopter in the game. This is the Volatile. Some people call it the Dorito Jet because it's a very big, as you can see. And it's a jet, and it's like the shape of a Dorito. So if you go down more, so you have the Barrage, which is, I used to have this, but then I sold it back because I needed money at the time. Yeah, it basically has two guns on it, which is I love about it, by the way. This is the Chernobog, the Chernobog. It's basically a missile truck. This is the P996 laser. I actually have this jet. I own it. This is the F1 Hunter helicopter, which is basically one of the helicopters that they use in the military. This is a Nakata. It's just a lot of planes. That's the flying motorcycle, or the gliding motorcycle, I should say. This is the Cargo Bob, one of the most important vehicles of the game. It's basically a helicopter that can pick up cars. Yeah, so there's not too many helicopters compared to how many actual flying vehicles there is. This is the Ducati. That's basically an armored car. That's the actual tank they can find in the military base. Yeah, and then you have this plane website. These are not military planes. These are just planes you can have fun with. Put them in your hangar. Some of them are a waste of money. Some of them are good investments. This is the Arena War website I was telling you about. So in the Arena War website, all the vehicles are on sale right now because you know, it's meant to be like real life. So yeah, so it's basically these are the cars that I told you. They're like they have weapons on them. It's just, I feel like it gives you an advantage in the game. You can upgrade them. So if I go into the Future Shock ZR380, if you go to the fully modded, as you can see, it has guns, spikes on the side. I don't know what to call this. A shovel, you could say. And you know, there's different classes. There's the Apocalypse, which is, I think this is called the Nightmare. These are like the clown, scary ones. And this is the Future Shock. These are the plain colors, where you can just have like one specific color on the entire car. Like I said earlier, you can change the color to whatever you want. And these guys are basically just the rustic. They're basically like rusty cars. That's probably my least favorite one out of the three. They look pretty ugly. And last but not least, you have you have Benny's, which is basically, it's not the last one, but Benny's, you have I don't know what to call these cars, but they're pretty nice, I would say. And Docties, this is where you buy boats, and you could buy this yacht. I really wouldn't recommend buying this yacht because it's pretty pointless. It doesn't give you an advantage in the game. I mean, unless you have money, like as you can see, you can pay 6 million. And that's just the lowest price you can pay for. That's the minimum. Yeah. So I really wouldn't buy it unless you have money just laying around. This is the Tug. I wouldn't recommend buying any of these boats except, of course, the Sea Shark, which is basically a jet ski. And the actual last website Pedal and Metal. This basically sells bikes. I really wouldn't recommend buying any of these bikes, just for the reason that there's motorcycles in the game. If you really like the two-wheel aesthetic on a vehicle, and if you really do want a bike, I would recommend buying one of the cheaper ones, because the most expensive bike here is $10,000. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all the cars. I have one more thing to show you guys, and I will end the stream, end the video. I mean. So I'll show you guys my flying motorcycle, or the Oppressor Mark II as it's called in the game. As you can see, it has a speed boost, which and it can fire missiles. Like, see that car in the street? I could just blew it up. Yeah, so. I could land it and then show you. Yeah, it's cool. See, I can blow up this right. If you see that 1 star in the top corner, that's the level of police. So 1 star is basically the lowest you can get in the police scanner, and 5 stars is the most you get, which basically you have military, SWAT team, tanks coming after you. You would have had to done something very bad for that to happen, but you usually would have to try to get up there. It wouldn't just regularly happen. So if we just keep going to where I'm going to show you the last area of the hangar. So this place is, or the city I should say, is basically Los Angeles in America and California. I mean, I wouldn't know, I don't live in America, like I live in Canada, but I'm pretty sure this is what it's based off of. This sounds quite right. Yeah, I live in Montreal. I don't really know that much about America. The city is actually called Los Santos, so you could also pick it up from that.
Okay, you gotta see this!
So that's the guy who just called me. He's one of the non-playable characters. He basically just gets you to buy stuff in the game. He's basically a salesman. He's not a real person, but... So I'm approaching the military base. Usually if you went into the military base, you would get a 4-star wanted level, because you're generally not supposed to be in a military base. But since I own a property inside the military base, I'm allowed in here whenever I want. So I can just go over here and go to my hangar. So that blue circle basically just lets you go. So this is my hangar. This is where I put all my aerial vehicles. You could also do air missions over there, which is basically like you fly planes and collect stuff for people. This is my laser jet. I could just fly it around whenever I want. The other blue plane in the middle is my Cuban 800, and the white helicopter is my Buzzard attack chopper. So once I leave, I basically can just fly it out to the military base. I can put the wheels up. See that white dot in front of me? That's my crosshair for my missiles. So I can just shoot a missile right there. Or if I decide to, I can use my cannon, which has explosive rounds. Which is basically like when you shoot a you have infinite ammo, so you can just keep shooting. So eventually your helicopter, when
I pretty much showed you basically everything that goes on in GTA. I know some people don't want to play the game because of its, sometimes it can be inappropriate, but just know that it's only inappropriate when the player, basically you, makes it inappropriate. Like, you won't end up in a club, the game won't put you in the club unless you yourself get into a car in the game and drive the car. Which, if you have control, if you really don't want to see the club and that's the reason you're not having the game, don't get in a car and don't do that. You know, like in the beginning, I thought it was just the club was just a spot where the game would shoot. But then my friend told me that you only have access to the club if you yourself force yourself to go in there. Like the game is not gonna put you in there by itself. Like, the game is not cool. So that's gonna be all for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a subscribe, like on the video, and turn on post notifications. And I will see you guys in the next video.